Hi friends and readers! I am so excited for this week's reading vlog, which is rereading books from two of my favorite authors. Not only are we rereading books from them, but we are rereading the very first book that I ever read by them. Two of my favorite authors are Ali Hazelwood and Emily Henry. For Ali Hazelwood, I have read all three of her STEM romances, which include Love Hypothesis, Love on the Brain, and Love Theoretically. I've also read a few of her other recent books like Not in Love, Problematic Summer Romance, Bride, also Deep End, and I will continue to pick up Ali Hazelwood's books. She is a 5-star author for me. By Emily Henry, I have read People We Meet on Vacation, Beach Read, Happy Place, Book Lovers, Great Big Beautiful Life, Funny Story, and she is also a 5-star author for me, so I will definitely continue to pick up her books. For this week's video, we will be rereading People We Meet on Vacation by Emily Henry and The Love Hypothesis by Ali Hazelwood. Now, I had planned on doing this video and I could not have planned it any perfectly. I was going to be doing it a week or two from now, but I decided to do it now because there is now an underlying theme other than my favorite authors and the first books I've read, and that is both of these books are going to be a movie. Yes, you've heard it here. We already had the People We Meet on Vacation movie announcement. In fact, it's close to being done filming or already done filming, and it is release dated in January of next year. But we just got the Love Hypothesis movie announcement. Epic. Lily Reinhart posted a video and I saw it and I have never been more excited. So now these are also going to be rereads before the movie adaptations. I read People We Meet on Vacation back in 2022 and I read The Love Hypothesis back in 2021. So it's been about 3 to 4 years since I've read either of these books. I will say I read both of these books before I even downloaded Goodreads or any reading app. And so when I did get a reading app, I went back and uploaded all the books I had read and guesstimated about when I read them. So I don't know how accurate that is, but it sounds about right. The fun thing is I rated both of these books a 4-star. So I'm so curious throughout this week, is that going to change? Is it going to stay the same, go up or down? I have an idea, but I'll keep that to myself and try to be objective about both of the books. It is now Thursday afternoon. I'm on my lunch break from work. I have already started People We Meet on Vacation and I'm going to hold off on The Love Hypothesis so I can go grab it from the library. I have a busy weekend. Normally I can read throughout the weekend a good bit, but I'm going out of town, so I may only be able to read a little, but I have already started the book. Well, of course I've already started it. I finished it once a few years ago, but I've already started it again this week. I'm so excited. It is a few hours later and I wanted to update you on the book. I am 70 or about 70 pages into the People We Meet on Vacation by Emily Henry. I decided last year that I would want to reread Emily Henry's books and particularly my favorites. And I started last year with Beach Read, which is my all-time favorite Emily Henry read. Reread it last year, and this year I was actually going to pick up Happy Place first, but to stick with the movie theme, I decided to do People We Meet on Vacation. It was also the first one I ever read, and I feel like people often rate People We Meet on Vacation lowest when it comes to other Emily Henry books, and so I thought I wanted to give it another read because I rated it a 4-star back when I read it. Maybe because it was the first book I ever read by her. I had always thought that this was her first book in the contemporary romance that she's been putting out more recently, and then I read the beginning page of the book and she said, "I wrote the last one mostly for me. This one's for you." And that made me go and look up what the last book was that she was talking about, and it was Beach Read. And that blew my mind because I had no clue Beach Read came out before this. You can also tell that this is a reread because my book has some kitty cat chews on it, which honestly, that might make someone else mad, but I think that it's so cute. My little guy, I left this out one day and my little guy Louis took a chew on it and it gives it some character. What is People We Meet on Vacation even about? about. This book follows Poppy. Poppy is a writer for a travel blog. Her team will send her to different places to vacation so that she can write about them for the blog. And then the male main character's name is Alex. Alex is a teacher. He's organized, he's clean, he's tidy, he has a cat. Oh. And Alex is everything that I am, and I see myself in him so much. Organized, tidy, want control, like the quiet, like my cats. So I love Alex. Many years ago, this story is following a past and present timeline from a few summers ago to present day summer. A long time ago, the male main character and female main character met each other at college, and they discovered that they lived in the same hometown, so they would ride home from college together. They are complete opposites. However, that first car ride home to Ohio is what sparked them and their friendship. We learned that they take a 1-week vacation together every year, all the way up until 2 years ago. No more summer vacations together, and bouncing back and forth between these two timelines of lots of summers ago to current summer. We're trying to discover why they no longer talk to each other and why they stopped going on a vacation 2 years ago. So it's been 2 years since they even talked to each other, and Poppy reaches out to Alex to see if they could go on one final vacation together, and we're peeling back the layers on why they don't talk. I know I've read this book, but I actually can't remember why they don't talk. I've got an idea, of course, because, you know, conflict in a romance book, but I truly don't remember the exact reason, and so I'm learning again. Flash forward, it has been a few days. I think since I last updated you, it was a Thursday. Now it's Monday. I am off work. It's about 6:53 p.m. and we are 222 pages, which is chapter 22 of People We Meet on Vacation. About that much left to go, so more than halfway. I think I have about 140 pages left. Not only am I rereading my favorite author's book that I read first of them, I just can't believe it's been about 3 years since I've read this book, and I'm so curious if my mind would be able— Archie? Come here. Yeah, come here. I was so curious if my mind would take me straight back to what I conjured up as the setting and what the people look like. This house that they're in throughout this current summer, in the current chapters, and even the settings from when they go back to previous summers. I am remembering exactly how it was in my head when I first read it, which I didn't know if that would happen, if I was able to come up with something different. And because of that, I am so curious on how this book is going to be portrayed in a movie. The second time through, I'm thinking of all the ways that it's gotta be so hard to make a movie out of the book, because we are doing a past and present timeline between 10 different summers. Not only would they be aging in those 10 years, but also they're always going on a vacation in a new city, in a new place. So I'm curious what summers are going to be included. I'm sure we all know that there are going to be summers that are referenced between Poppy and Alex that are more important than some other summers, but I'm curious which ones they're going to pick and how they're going to film these scenes. So I think that's what makes this week's reading unique, because not only am I rereading, but I'm also thinking about how it's going to be a movie. And I'm not picturing the two actresses that I know who are Poppy and Alex in the movie, because those have been announced and we've seen clips of them. But I'm going back to what I originally saw them as in my head. I'm having a good time. I think this is still going to be a 4-star read for me. I'm still not sure what happened 2 summers ago. That's the reason why they're not talking, and I totally still can't remember. I have an idea, of course. It is so hard with books about 2 best friends, and then the 2 best friends have relationships throughout. We know how it ends. I'm gonna keep chugging along, and I'll update you when I finish the book, probably by tomorrow. What am I saying? Hello? It is about 12:40 p.m. on Tuesday. I am on page 332, which means I have just about 30 pages left in People We Meet on Vacation. And the reason why they didn't talk for 2 summers has been revealed. It was less anticlimactic because we sort of talked about it before that actual chapter happened through the current summer and then the summers before that summer. And so now I'm remembering exactly everything. I I am going to try to knock out, if I can, in the next 20 minutes, the last few pages, and then update you when I get off work and maybe even start our next book. But I think still going to be a 4-star read for me. The biggest thing though, in the last 30 pages of the reread, I'm curious to see how I'm going to end up ranking this amongst the other Emily Henry books, if I even can. Talk to you soon. This is so funny to me. Basically, it doesn't have much to do with the plot, but Poppy's, I think her first boyfriend in high school or something, his name is the name of a teacher that that I had in high school. And so it's just a funny, weird coincidence. First and last name, same exact thing. And so every time she happens to mention her first love in high school and it's resurfaced here towards the end of the book, it just makes me laugh because what are the odds? This is actually a sweet moment that I don't remember. She's catching up with someone way from her past and they're just talking about middle school and I cannot relate more. The person said, "You remember how awful middle school was, right? You feel so out of place, like something's wrong with you and any second everyone else is going to figure it out." That cannot be any more relatable. Middle school is just awful. First book down, I finished People We Meet on Vacation just before I went back to lunch. I think I had the epilogue left, which was just a few pages. And we are in fact keeping this star rating how I had it a few years ago, which is a 4-star. If you like a past and present timeline, friends to lovers, this book's for you. If you want to read it before the movie comes out, I recommend. That way you get a solid foundation of what this story is about, who Alex and Poppy are, before you see the movie. I think that's a good idea. But also if you want to watch the movie first and then read the book, who am I to tell you what to do? The biggest thing that I'm getting from this reread is my Emily Henry rankings. She's one of the only authors that I've done any rereads for, which is just Beach Read and now People We Meet on Vacation. And I'm really trying to figure out where her books rank for me and I'm having a hard time. I think so far of the contemporary romances, one that I know for a fact is at the bottom is Great Big Beautiful Life. And then I do know that my top 2 favorites are for sure Beach Read and then Happy Place. So Beach Read and then Happy Place. So the in-betweens is where I'm having a really hard time. It's been a few years since I read Book Lovers and now rereading People We Meet on Vacation. I feel like I would need to reread Lovers just to know where it goes in between. And then Funny Story. So People We Meet on Vacation, Funny Story, and Book Lovers, I've kind of got them all in the same line. I just don't know where I would rank them amongst the 3, which means I'm just gonna have to reread those too. Emily Henry is just a 5-star read. I will continue to pick up her books when they're released, day of, month of, and I am always happy to reread another. I can't wait to watch this movie in January next year. And now we're gonna head to the library because The Love Hypothesis is available at the local library to read. So I'm gonna go grab that and then get started on our next book. This one I think I'm most excited to reread because it was what threw me into Ali Hazelwood, contemporary romance, and I just can't wait to pick it up again. Let's hope our copy is in good condition. Let's go grab it! Okay, it's the next day. I went and picked up The Love Hypothesis by Ali Hazelwood from my local library. Here she is in all her glory. I'm obsessed with this cover, particularly in the STEM romance field. I think this is one of the best covers ever, and I'm so excited this book is getting all of its glory due to the movie announcement because it absolutely deserves it. In the last day, I have binged it. I am on page 136, and I just remember why I adored this book and why I started reading Ali Hazelwood books. This is just exactly what I needed this summer. It's such a good, fun banter read. Our female main character, Olive, is a PhD student and her best friend is starting to talk to a guy that Olive used to talk to, but she's a little bit hesitant to jump into the relationship out of like best friend code. So Olive is trying to convince her that she really wasn't into the guy, which she wasn't. She's trying to do anything she can do to make sure her friend can peacefully date this person. She wants to fake date someone to prove prove that she really wasn't into him. The first thing she does is when her best friend walks by in the lab setting, she grabs the nearest guy and gives him a big old kiss. And that just happens to be the professor that everyone hates in the science department. Adam Carlson. That's all, Adam Carlson. Like People We Meet on Vacation, I am not imagining the cast that we recently had announced for the movie. I'm imagining basically something along these lines, and what came up in my head, I'm back in the exact same picture that I was those few years ago. Now, she kisses Adam and you're thinking, why would he want to fake date her? We know why she wants to fake date him. Well, he has his own reasons, and we're peeling back the covers to see why Adam is okay with fake dating a PhD student as a professor, and it's just hilarious. It's Grumpy Sunshine almost. Ali Hazelwood's writing is just so easy, and it's just witty and funny. Even if you're not into science, you're not into STEM, it is never too much about that topic, and so you can always read it and not feel like you're lost in the world that you're not a part of. It does such a good job of actually making it something that you do want to read about. Now this one, it seems like I can remember the plot a little bit more than I did with People We Meet on Vacation, so I have an idea where it's going with some side characters, also our two main characters, but it's still always fun to pick up on the small details in a reread that you didn't notice before. We'll see how much more we can read tonight and into the next day. I'm just excited. I can't wait to see this as a movie. For this one, I have seen the TikToks from Lily Reinhart about her character as Olive, and so I'm just giddy. I'm excited. I wish it was coming as soon as People We Meet on Vacation is, but I still have a good bit of the book left to read. We'll catch up later. It's gonna be a good Thursday. I have not read at all today, but it's about 8:30 p.m. I have some Olipop or root beer Olipop left, loaded with some water. I mean, a massive thing of water. And of course, the love hypothesis. Let's do some reading. Catching up on some reading this morning, and in this book between fake dating, there's also like a close proximity where they have to room together because duh, they're fake dating, and it's just golden. I love that. Our main girl character, she just knows. She's talking to him, he's offering for her to stay in his hotel, and he's like, it's fine, it's a double bed. And she said, no, it's always one bed. And he's saying, no, I can show you the hotel confirmation, it's a double room. And she's like, you don't get it, it's going to be one bed. I love it. I love it. I'm on page 229, 230, and just know I hate him, I hate him, I hate him. This is a part I vividly remember from when I read the book a few years ago, and I hadn't forgot because I hated it so much. Yeah, that's all. I'm gonna keep reading. I can't wait to be done with this part. We just wrapped up The Love Hypothesis by Ali Hazelwood, and I think I'm gonna up the rating to a 4.5. I mean, I'm just obsessed with this book, and I would give it a 5-star. There's one part of the book that's really hard for me to read. It is the harsh reality of women in STEM. Just pick this up. If you're doing anything, you're picking this book up. A 4.5 stars, and I mean, Adam, their origin story, the pining, the banter, the jokes, and honestly, I would recommend to read this book during the fall fall time or approaching fall, so maybe next month or in September. We hear a lot about September. We also hear a lot about pumpkin spice lattes, and so this could be a fun introduction into the fall, even though it doesn't necessarily scream fall vibes. I would have been highly entertained if I had picked it up then as well. So with that, we finished rereading 2 books, the very first books I ever read from my 2 5-star authors, Ali Hazelwood and Emily Henry. I wanted to read these books in particular because they're both hitting the big screen in the next year or two, and I just wanted to reminisce on what introduced me to these authors and what really spiraled me into becoming a reader in my current day. Of course, I will always reread an Emily Henry book, but now this makes me want to go back and reread Love Theoretically or Love on the Brain by Ali Hazelwood. If I do, which one should I read, Love on the Brain or Theoretically? And then for Emily Henry, should I reread Happy Place or Book Lovers next? And to end this video, let me know if there's a book out there going to be a movie here in the next year or two that I should read before it hits the screens. That's it for this week's reading. Bye for now. Sidebar, if you rent from the library, don't forget to return your library book.